This video delves into the early developments of propositional logic, focusing on the contributions f4g philosophical figures during the Hellenistic period. It examines the emergence of conditional logic, the Diodorian conditional and modal logic, alongside the significant arguments and theories proposed by philosophers such as Diodorus Cronus and Philo the logician. By exploring the historical context and the distinction between various philosophical sects, this video aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of the foundational ideas that shaped the trajectory of logic and philosophy. Historical and philosophical context. Hellenistic period. The dialectical school emerged after the death of Alexander the Great, during a time of intense political and social change in the great world. This period saw the rise of new philosophical inquiries and shift in focus toward logic and dialectics. Main figures and contributions. Euclid of Miletus, considered the founder of the dialectical school. Euclid's works have not survived, but his influence is evident the contribution of his successors. Diodorus Cronus and Philo the logician. Diodorus and Philo are the best-known members of the school, making significant contributions to modal logic and theory of conditiones. Diodorus developed a precursor to strict implications and introduced the famous master argument, which sought to prove that only the reals is possible. Modal logic and the theory of conditionals. The dialecticians explored concepts of necessity, stability, and contingency, establishing whr foundation for modal logic, which deals with different modalities of truth. Conditional logic. Philo and Diodorus developed theories about conditionals, propositions that relate two or more ideas through the conjunction if-then. Their investigations were crucial for understanding logical implications. Diodorus master arguments. The objective of Diodorus' master argument was to prove that only the real is possible, which has significant implications for metaphysics and epistemology. Despite its complexity, this argument exemplifies dialectical thinking and the search for answers to profound. Distinction between the dialectical school and the Megarian school. Lineage and sect. The term lineage, the as diadoke, refers to the genealogy of philosophy in terms of teacher-student relationship, while sect heresis refers to a group of philosophers with a shared core of doctrines. Diodorus and Philo are acknowledged as part of the lineage of Euclid of Miletus, the founder of the Megarian school. Existence of the Megarian sect. The existence of the Megarian sect, which included figures such as Euclid and Stilpus of Megara. Existence of the dialectical sect. Contemporaries in the 4th and 3rd centuries BC identified the dialectical sect as a distinct group, not merely a phase of the Megarian sect. Diogenes Laertius mentions the dialectical sect as one of the 10 ethical sects. Criticism and objections. Some scholars argue against the institutional structure of the dialectical group, claiming it lacked the necessary organization to be considered a sect in the technical sense. Additionally, the absence of a centralized set of doctrines and ethical views attributed to members of the dialectical sect has been ignored. Philonic conditional. Truth functional criterion. Philo's criterion for the truth of a conditional is based on the idea that the truth value of the conditional depends solely on the truth values of the antecedent and consequent. Minimal condition. This truth functional approach has been widely accepted as a condition for the truth of a conditional. Truth table. Philos argued that a conditional is false only when its antecedent is true and its consequent is false. It is true in all other cases, when the antecedent is false and when both the antecedent and consequent are true. Material implications. Philo's notion of conditional closely resembles the material implications. However, a crucial difference is that truth for Hellenistic philosophers was relativized to time, distinguishing it from modem material implications. Rupture with common sense. Philo's proposal notably distances itself from everyday understanding of conditional sentences, requiring a high level of abstraction based on the functionality of truth. Disadvantages. One of the disadvantages of Philo's views is that they idea to the lead so-called paradox of material implication, where certain conditionals can be considered true despite counterintuitive implications. Conclusion. The exploration of propositional logic's beginnings reveals a rich tapestry of philosophical inquiry and development. The contributions of figures like Diodorus and Philo laid the groundwork for future advancements in logic, highlighting the importance of dialectical thinking in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. The Dialecticians were influenced by Socrates, known for his technique of questioning and the search for truth through dialogue. The Dialectics School was notable for interest in logical paradoxes, propositional logic, and dialectical expertise, areas that would become important for the development of philosophy and mathematics. Euclid of Miletus is considered the founder of the school, although his works have not survived. Diodorus Cronus and Philo the logician are the best-known members of the school, who made significant contributions to modal logic and the theory of conditionals. Philo introduced a version of material implication, a fundamental concept in modern logic. Diodorus developed a precursor of strict implication and the famous master argument, which seeks to prove that only the real is possible. Modal logic, the Dialecticians explored the concepts of necessity, stability and contingency, establishing the basis for modal logic, which deals with the different modalities of truth. Philo and Diodorus developed theories about conditionals, that is, two propositions that relate two or more ideas through the conjunction if, then. Their investigations were crucial to the understanding of logical implication. The argument sought to prove that only the real is possible, which would have important implications for metaphysics and epistemology. It is not clear that the dialectical school had a formal structure, like other ancient philosophical schools. It is suggested that the union of the dialecticians may have been based more on common interest in dialectics than on a formal institution. The following is a list of the constructors of dialectical thought. Clycomachus of Thurii, presented as the founder of the school. Although he received this title only later. Eupantus of Olyntus, possibly the first member of the school. Dionysius of Chalcedon, responsible for introducing the name dialectical school, due to the practice of presenting arguments in the most impotent member of the sect. Although he left no writings. Zeno of Citium, a student of Diodorus and founder of Stoicism. Aristides, Alexinus, Philo the logician, the daughters of Diodorus, Phantoids. The conflict. The master argument seems to have arisen from a conflict. It seems to have been development from a conflict between their statements. Every true past proposition is necessary. The impossible does not follow from the possible. Something is possible that is not true and will not be true. Diodorus used the plausibility of the first two statements to show that nothing is possible that is not and will not be true. The argument itself has not come down to us. Only a brief passage from Epictetus remains. Diodorus' master argument is complex and sought to justify his definition of possibility and has generated several interpretations throughout history. To better understand this issue, the complexity of the master argument. The definition that states that everything is possible is or will be true. The argument tries to show that there is no middle ground between the possible and the real, and that everything that possible eventually comes true. The foundation of reason in Epicurus paradox and the master argument. Epicurus paradox is argument that questions the compatibility between the existence of an omnipotent, omniscient and omnibenevolent God and existence of evil in the world. If God has all the power to prevent evil, all the knowledge where evil exists and all the goodness to desire to eliminate evil, why does evil still exist? The relationship between the master argument and Epicurus paradox lies in the question of logical determinism. Diodorus' master argument, by arguing that what is possible eventually becomes real, implies a deterministic view of the world, where the future in a certain way, is already predetermined. This deterministic view can be used to try to respond to Epicurus paradox, arguing that evil is necessary for the greater good to be realized at some point in the future. The master argument and Epicurus paradox distinct concepts, but they are related through the question of logical determinism. So if everything is possible, good is possible. Well guys, the video has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed the content. Comment, share and consider subscribing to the channel, leave your like and above all comment on the subject so that the platform can publicize the same.